Charles Leclerc made up for Ferrari's Friday electrical problem by pumping in the fastest lap of a wet final practice session for the British Grand Prix as he dialed in his Ferrari ahead of qualifying. Max Verstappen has set an early benchmark time to go top just moments after the session started, with Lewis Hamilton later going top of the timesheets in front of his home fans, before Leclerc claimed top spot to lead Ferrari in P1 at a track where they won last year. While Leclerc was left kicking his heels in FP2, the Williams pair of Alex Albon and Logan Sargeant were flying on track, both finishing the session in the top 5. And they proved that was no fluke by impressing again on Saturday morning, with Sargeant up in P7 on the timesheets, despite the fact he lost part of his car on his hot lap.
Something just blew off, and I have crazy hot air hitting my arm.
Okay, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Man, it's so hot.
Albon, meanwhile, went even better and was a brilliant second to leave Williams fans dreaming of a double Q3 appearance for the cars running a special livery this weekend to celebrate the team's 800th Grand Prix. Fellow British team McLaren have an anxious wait to see if they will face any action from the stewards after Lando Norris was sent out of the garage with a piece of equipment still attached to the rear of his car, with the mechanic rushing to retrieve it, an action that's being investigated. Friday was bright and sunny at Silverstone, but as the drivers were preparing for FP3 on Saturday morning, there were heavy-looking clouds hanging over the track. And as the clock ticked towards 20 minutes gone in the session, McLaren's Oscar Piastri had an ominous-sounding weather report from out on track.
Some lightning towards turn 15, outside of turn 15.
Copy.
And just a few moments later, race control officially declared it was a wet track, which signalled the end of the quick laps and saw most of the drivers scamper back to the pits, except Leclerc, who was keen to find out if there was any grip left.
Yeah, it's raining a lot in turn 18 to 19, and I am staying out.
Copy.
I won't take risk, but I'm staying out.
Understood.
The rain continued for the rest of the session, forcing the drivers onto intermediate tyres as they got in some practice laps in case the rain is still in the air when qualifying begins later on Saturday afternoon, with Max Verstappen looking quickest in the damp conditions. But with the circuit wet and slippery, no one was able to get near Leclerc's time when the checkered flag fell. So Leclerc finished top of the timesheets with the impressive Albon less than 2 tenths behind in P2. Fernando Alonso was next in the lead Aston Martin, followed by Pierre Gasly, Lewis Hamilton and Carlos Sainz in the second Ferrari. Sargeant was P7 ahead of Verstappen, George Russell and Yuki Tsunoda. Nick de Vries was P11 ahead of Lando Norris, Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez. Then it was Kevin Magnussen, Esteban Ocon and Oscar Piastri in the second McLaren. Valtteri Bottas was P18 with Nico Hülkenberg and Zhou Guanyu, who failed to set a time after suffering from a technical issue, rounding out the order. Next up, qualifying.